Welcome to today's Explainer. We're unpacking something literally everyone needs to know, the mechanics of unexpected police encounters. What's really fascinating here is how law enforcement is highly trained to use some pretty clever psychological tactics to get you to just willingly waive your constitutional rights. So today, we're breaking down exactly how these encounters work, and we're using the law itself to map out a clear blueprint to protect yourself. Okay, picture this. You're grilling in your backyard on a beautiful, quiet Saturday. Suddenly, a police drone is just hovering right over your fence line. You'd probably feel completely violated, right? Well, what does the law actually say about that? Under the Supreme Court's social norms test from a landmark case called Florida versus Jardines, a police officer without a warrant has absolutely no more right to snoop around your property than a Girl Scout or a FedEx driver. Seriously, if it's not socially acceptable for your delivery driver to hover a drone over your barbecue, it definitely isn't acceptable for the police to do it without a warrant either. And this brilliantly illustrates the danger of a really common police tactic. It's called the knock and talk. This is where police just walk right up to your door without a warrant, basically hoping to bait you into a conversation. And here is the crazy part. A staggering 80%, over 80% actually, according to documented studies in states like Michigan, Arkansas, and Missouri, of homeowners end up just handing over their rights and consenting to a search during these encounters. 80%. So the absolutely crucial point here is a legal concept known as consent cures all. Look, police are trained to make you feel kind of guilty about exercising your rights. They might hit you with the classic, well, if you have nothing to hide, why won't you let me look? But they know full well that the exact second you agree to a search, you're voluntarily waiving your Fourth Amendment protections. And yep, whatever they find can and absolutely will be used against you. Section 1. Defending your home curtilage. Now, the legal word curtilage might sound super fancy, but it literally just means the area immediately surrounding your home. We're talking about your front porch, your patio, your fenced-in backyard. And the Supreme Court has been crystal clear on this. Your curtilage holds the exact same amount of legal protection under the Fourth Amendment as the inside of your own living room. Police cannot just go wandering around this area, peeping through your blinds, or messing with your porch security cameras without completely violating your rights. So, what do you actually do if you spot that police drone hovering above your fence line? You've got to follow these exact steps. Step 1, do not take physical action. Don't grab a broom, don't throw a rock at it, or you could suddenly be facing felony charges. Step 2, pull out your phone and record the encounter. You want to secure secondary evidence for your lawyer. And step 3, prepare for the knock and talk. That drone is usually just a scout. Officers are probably going to be at your front door really soon trying to bait you into confirming whatever that drone just saw. But what if you just ignore the knock and the cops refuse to leave your porch? Well, the law heavily backs you up here. Take the 2021 case of French versus Morel. If an officer persistently bangs on your door or just refuses to leave after you've made it totally clear you won't answer, they're violating your Fourth Amendment rights. In that specific case, the court ruled there was no qualified immunity for the officers. That means they were held civilly liable for their harassment. You can literally sue them for just lingering on your curtilage. Section 2. Surviving the traffic stop. All right, let's transition from the highly fortified protection of your home to a much more vulnerable, high-stress environment, the street and your vehicle. Traffic stops are where people make the most mistakes, for sure. Think about it. When an officer pulls you over, leans right into your window, and drops those 5 words, "I think I smell alcohol," human instinct just kicks in. You immediately want to explain yourself. You blurt out, "Oh, I only had 1 beer," or "I drank like 3 hours ago." Stop. You've just admitted to drinking. That is not a defense. It is a confession. The law demands that you use your constitutional shield instead. Silence is literally your best weapon here. In real-life practice, the legal lines between 2 key concepts can get super blurry. Reasonable suspicion is actually a very low bar. It just allows an officer to temporarily detain you, like during a standard traffic stop. But probable cause? That requires clear facts that a crime is actively being committed in order to legally search your car. So officers will often use that minor routine traffic stop to just hold you there and basically fish for anything they can to build up to that probable cause. And here's exactly how that probable cause gets established. You need to avoid what the law calls furtive movements. During a stop, keep your hands totally visible on the steering wheel and stay perfectly calm. If you suddenly reach under your seat or make quick, jerky motions, the officer is going to immediately write in their report that you made furtive movements. And guess what? That gives them a perfectly legal excuse to claim officer safety, pull you straight out of the car, and start a search. Oh, and here is another classic trick, the smell test. For decades, a cop claiming they smell marijuana was just an automatic free pass to search your vehicle. But the legal landscape is shifting right now. In a lot of states, courts are actually ruling that the odor of marijuana alone does not prove intoxication and it doesn't guarantee an immediate search anymore. Now, definitely keep in mind, in states where it's still strictly illegal, this tactic is still heavily used. But in many jurisdictions, odor alone is no longer that automatic golden ticket to search. Now, what if you're not even in a car? What if you're just walking down the street? If a cop approaches you on foot, follow these 3 steps. 1. Figure out if it's a consensual encounter. If they just stroll up to chat, you totally have the right to just keep on walking. 2. Use the detention test. Just ask them directly, am I free to go or am I being detained? Force them to actually establish your legal status out loud. And 3, if they do detain you, remain silent. Just stop talking. You are not going to talk your way out of it. Section 3. Protecting your digital property. All right, let's talk about your smartphone. It is your digital castle. The Supreme Court actually considers your phone to be an effect that is fully protected by the Fourth Amendment. I mean, it's essentially a portable filing cabinet of your entire life, your photos, private messages, bank details, you name it. And that is exactly why an officer might try to be super casual and ask, hey buddy, mind unlocking your phone real quick just to prove you weren't texting? Do not fall for it. Giving them access opens up a massive, completely unregulated window into your private life. Section 4. The scripts you must know. Okay, we've covered a lot of abstract legal theory in this explainer so far. Now we're going to consolidate all of these concepts into your ultimate weapon, the exact word-for-word scripts you need to memorize to invoke your protections. Script number 1 is for your home. If police are doing a knock and talk at your front door, maybe after flying that drone around, do not step outside. Speak through a locked screen door and say exactly this. Officer, I am aware of the surveillance. I do not consent to any searches. I am exercising my right to remain silent. Am I free to go or am I being detained? This explicitly invokes your Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights, and it forces their legal license to just stand on your porch to immediately expire. Script number 2. This one is for the traffic stop. When you see those flashing lights and an officer tries to trap you with the smell test, use these exact bullet points. Officer, I will not answer questions about what I've had to eat or drink. I do not consent to a search of my vehicle. Am I free to go or am I being detained? Notice what you're doing here. You're legally shutting down their fishing expedition, politely, firmly, and without being combative. And finally, script number 3. If they ask you to biometrically unlock your phone with your face or your fingerprint, recite this response. I will not answer questions about my private property. I do not consent to searches of my electronic devices. I want to speak to my lawyer. Boom. This firmly locks down your digital castle and explicitly invokes your Sixth Amendment right to counsel. It stops their interrogation right in its tracks. So we're going to wrap up with this really critical question. Is exercising your rights an admission of guilt? Absolutely not. Never, ever forget that respectfully refusing a search and staying silent is not proof that you are hiding something. It's the fundamental, legally protected baseline of being a free citizen. Your refusal simply cannot be used against you in a court of law. So the next time you see those flashing lights in your rearview mirror, or you hear that unexpected knock at your front door, are you going to surrender your castle, or will you stand firmly behind the shield of the Constitution?